This is great. Come on. All right. You want to tell them I'm back on? I hope so. Jay, can you find out if I am? Check. Check if I'm back on unfrozen. Okay. I don't know what's wrong with her bloody ass internet. Okay. Hopefully you guys can see and hear me. I don't know. Our internet has been problem. Okay. Mom said I'm here. All right. Uh, we were having problems this morning with Jerry's live, and I don't know what she did to correct it. All I know is I'm trying not to use as much bandwidth by linking my tablet with my phone. It's I don't know what's been going on lately. I just know I'm gonna say last week alone has been really. Um, I guess the only way I can say it, it's screwy Louie. I mean, one moment everything's working fine and dandy, and the next moment it's like no internet connection. The either the internet provider or our machine is like constantly rebooting itself in the middle of the day and lasting for hours. It's like you'll be watching. We'll be watching TV, which is all internet, and boom, picture's frozen. You get the spinning wheel of doom. Um, I go out and check the box, and the box is flashing, and like it's trying to reconnect to the actual server or to the internet provider, and it's like, okay, and then an hour later, the box is still blinking and whatnot, so I unplugged the whole dang system and replug it, and then it reboots. And then half an hour later, it's back to, square one. And I mean, like, what happened to the good old days where we didn't have to worry about all this digital crap? I remember, as a kid watching TV with an antenna, and we had very little problems with that unless it's bad weather. And well, if it's bad weather, it's bad weather. Of course, we are having bad weather around Rolla right now, so it's kind of like I understand today because of the way the weather's been, but the other days when it's nice, bright, and shiny, there shouldn't be a problem. It's like, what is the sun sending off solar flares, interrupting with the satellites and whatnot? Yes, kicking. I had to shave for my new job. Otherwise, I would not have shaved. I would have probably just trimmed. Um, well, that's the thing is that if it continues to happen tomorrow, because it doesn't happen this much over the weekend. But if we're having issues with our box and whatnot, I'm like I'm ready to call to call our service and say what's going on. Are you guys having problems that your system is rebooting in the middle of the day, which in the middle of the day is kind of bad because you've got the college that uses the internet, you got schools for different internet purposes, you've got business people using the internet. You know, it's not good. Um, I'm glad you guys are having beautiful weather out in Rhode Island. Um, it's really bad here. Not the weather. I mean, what was it? This past Monday, I said that we were going to have storms all week long, and now it's saying we had like 3 good sunny days, and then we got stormy weekends and possible storms a week ahead of you. And I'm like, you guys are predicting the weather too far in advance. Weather prediction 1 2 days in advance is okay, but when you're trying to do a week to 2 weeks at a time, no, no. Especially when a lot of places in this country, it's like I say when I was in Yellowstone National Park, I was like, oh, you don't like the weather now? Wait 5 minutes. Might get warmer, might get colder. The same thing here in Missouri. Oh, you don't like the weather now? Wait 5 minutes. It might have a tornado or it might clear up. Who knows? Thankfully, we haven't had any tornado warnings or watches lately. You know, but um, so yeah. I mean, I'm sorry. I don't know what I hit, but picture just came up showing a argon sweaters and Celtic something or other, and I'm like, what? Um, my tablet does it every so often, but yeah, yeah. They're allowing me to have the hair as long as I can keep it up under a cap, and if I don't put it up in a tail, it gets to like the middle, almost my shoulder blades, and they're like, well, you have to either cut that to collar length or keep it under a hat. And I said, I ain't. I shaved my beard for you guys. I am not cutting my hair. No, no, no. Might end up trimming it, just to get rid of some of the ends and whatnot. But no, no. That's one thing I will not trim or will not cut off is my hair. My beard was one thing because it can especially as long as my beard was, it was like yeah that could be a food contaminant hassle. Granted, there's a young man that works with me whose beard is not that long, but he puts a hair net or hair beard a beard net over it, and I was like, oh man, I should have thought about that. But no, I heard that I was going to get the interview for the job, and I figured I'm just gonna cut it all off. My mental health, well, it comes and goes. I mean, if I remember to take all my medication, it's not that bad. But like today, and I think the problem with today wasn't just the my mind. It was like being stuck in the house for a whole week. This cough and cold, and getting as much sleep as I can, but feeling like crap anyhow. Um, I started not really bad, but I was just kind of like, oh, man, always things could be better. If things would have gone some of the directions I wanted it to go, maybe things would be better. But I'm learning to roll with the punches. I'm not getting so down on myself that I want to, you know, scarf down half a bottle of what they call Boost Bar, which is a mood enhancer or a mood booster. Not an enhancer, but a mood booster. Um, yeah, my favorite season is around the corner, fall. Um, I love fall because of the change of color, and whatnot. But the trees around here started changing back in, early September when normally it doesn't happen until like mid to late October, early November. Yeah, it being whether this is allergies because we've been having extremely high leaf and grass mold as well as hay fever. So yeah, it really slammed into me last week. Well, that's when it started. It started last Sunday, and then by Monday, Tuesday, I was just like, ugh, you know, give me warm beverages and pump me full of antihistamines and cough syrup. Um, Thank you, Wesley. Um, I've actually, I've already said it. I enjoy this job. I enjoy this type of work. I love customer service. I love working with food. The only downside is I've been working there for almost 3 weeks, and scheduling has been either not forthcoming, or it's been like, well, we don't know what your hours are, and I'm like, I'm pretty much open unless it's an emergency. And I gave them like my medical, can't lift over $25, $25. Can't lift over 25 pounds because of my back, and I need to be able to sit down every so often just to take a load off. Um, but other than physical health, it's actually helped me a lot because when I'm at work, I'm happy and I'm doing my job and I'm helping people and I'm working with the crew, and it gives me a sense of purpose. And I'm not saying that I don't have a sense of purpose around my house, but it gives me more of a sense of purpose in what to focus on. Something that I know I have to do and I have to focus on and whatnot. Like around here, I don't have to focus on anything. I don't. There's no timeline around here, even though I should be making a timeline so I get shit done. But it's one of those things where like I should either a try to think about the things I have to do around the house as a job and not just something that needs to be done. Well, yeah, he basically he dropped it to 25 pounds. Um, I've already had two what they call two test shots or a series of shots in my back, and they've decided that because of it automatically pops up on its own, you little bugger. Um, we're going to be doing on the 15th of October what they call nerve ablation. They're going to basically scar the nerves that are causing me problems. And that should last anywhere from 6 months to a year, depending on how fast my body figures out a way to um, correct what they did or work around it, so I still have like feeling. The problems that I'm currently having will come back, and I'm just like, well, I hope it don't. I hope it lasts for a year because up until best case scenario, basically, is I'm hoping that I will be able to work another couple of years before it's either um, forced retirement or, which I hope it never. I don't really want forced retirement. I want to be able to work until I just either can't work no more or just don't have to work anymore. And I would rather work, to be honest with you. I mean, after sitting around for 2 years with no real job, trying to bide my time and take care of this house and all that fun stuff, I realized how bored I get. And when I get bored, I start having issues. Not just the physical issues of not having my stamina and whatnot, which is one of the things that's been a little bit of a difficulty. Is I'm building up my stamina to be able to stand for long periods of time and whatnot. Um, and honestly, I was like, you know what? Granted, I got fired from Walmart because I was taking too much time off of work to care for my wife. Which I think is like, are that, and they wanted to count the week, and I had paperwork, the week that I was in um, the psychiatric ward. Um, Hopefully that didn't cause any problems. My 8 p.m. alarm went off, which is usually time for me to put Oreo and whatnot to Oreo and Jerry to bed. Um, but I realized, once I got back to work, I'm like, okay, this is familiar, but my body's not used to it, so it's gonna, you know, yes, there's gonna be aches and pains, and there's gonna be used to the relearning things that I had not really forgotten, but things change. Systems change, methods change, order different items on the menu change. Um, But I'm like, you know what? I miss the work more because of um, the camaraderie and whatnot. Ah, shoot. I think I froze again. Hold on. Shoot. Um, those of you who can contact me via Messenger, let me know if I'm frozen or not because, like I said, my all of my systems here in the area are just okay. My mom says I'm not frozen. It might be just my tablet. Um, 'Cause my tablet's being a real, everything's being a real pain in the butt. Um, but yeah, I realized after going back to work that how much I missed it, and I should have tried to look sooner. But between things going around the house and whatnot, I just didn't know. Um, yeah, my tablet's giving me issues. Gosh darn it. Maybe if I closed a bunch of these windows, I wouldn't have so many problems. But yeah, something tells me it's my tablet and YouTube. All right. I might not be able to see all your guys' comments, and I hope I'm not frozen. Mom says no, but like I said, my YouTube and whatnot, or my equipment here at the house seems to be going screwy Louie, and that's what bugs me the most is because I keep on saying, if I was actually doing an at-home job where I needed, the best connection possible, and I'm now currently using the best connection, the best um, internet company in town, and I still can't do half the stuff I need to do, even if I or want to do, even if I wasn't working an at-home job, and I'd be livid. I'd be like, you guys need to either fix my equipment or stop freaking doing your updates or whatever you're doing between 12 noon and 5 p.m. because I'm losing business and I don't want to stay up at night to work, you know, even though I am a night owl. But, all right. Christ almighty. Um, yeah, this is gonna really annoy the crap out of me because now YouTube doesn't want to work on my tablet. Like, do I need to update it? Maybe that's what I should do is try to look to see if I need updates. But anyhow, where is my? You know, this is one of the reasons why I do not like technology. Because when it starts to break down and you can't do what you're supposed to be doing or need to be doing, it's a royal pain in the butt. Something tells me it's the tablet, not the YouTube. Because now I can't even look at my settings and whatnot. Like my tablet is going screwy Louie. It's funny how things happen like this, and it okay. Well, I'm glad that some of you guys, can see me. Um, with my schedule the way it is, not in combination of not knowing my schedule and just trying to figure out. Um, okay, so it's telling me it needs to be on the actual Wi-Fi, not on my hotspot. All right. See what happens here. Maybe that's part of the problem. No, it says low data mode, so I don't know. Let's try this again. And no, I'm not. Okay. Let's see. Let me just go back. Yeah, kicking. You're right. The more I use my body, the more I can cope with basic aches and pains, and that was one of the problems I was having in the past, is I wasn't doing things the right way. So yeah. Uh, Okay, yeah, it was just my tablet that was giving me problems. It was being a screwy Louie. Didn't like being um, on my hotspot, so I had to turn that off. Yeah, I do like getting out every so often. So I don't know when I go back to work, because they haven't put me on the schedule, and until this goes away, I don't know if I'll be able to go back to work. That's the big thing, because allergies or not, they don't want you to be around. They don't want you to be around other people, or stuff like that. Uh, so I'm. It's not that I want to. Let me figure out my words real quick. It's I don't want to get fired. I really don't. But I've already looked up a backup gig that I can do anytime I want to, during my off time or anything like that, to help make extra money, and that's being a door dasher. You know, and the difference between a DoorDasher and a food service person or a food worker is, everything's already in a bag and closed up, and I can, basically put a mask on and or cover up my. Um, so I'm like looking at all the potential positives of making money without having to deal with the possibility of contaminating somebody's food, if my allergies or anything like that is going to be a problem. Yep, I'm getting these automatic push notifications while doing a live. This is funny. Um, yeah, it is kind of odd that they hired me without realizing or knowing where they're going to put me, because I went in to talk to the I think she's the assistant manager. I'm not sure, um, about my hours, and she goes, "Oh yeah, I haven't put you into the computer system yet, because the only information I got for your hours is that you needed such and such a day off for a doctor's appointment." And I was like, "Oh, because I pretty much have open hours. I even have open availability." And I even said I thought I was hired to be like mid shift or something like that during rush hour, because um, they're understaffed. Basically, is what I was told. So now it's kind of like, come on, I've given you a note. I've told you, my availability. And the thing that was kind of that was good about this job was not only were they worried, will not worried, not only were they willing to work with me in um, my medical issues, and they understood that Jerry has cancer, and they understood that family was important and things like that. But they're willing to work with me because they need people. So I'm you know um well, I'm having to rego or redo or re-certify. I'm not certify. My disability was, and this we knew it was going to happen because it always does. Was denied, so we had to go through an appeal. We're going through an appeal system right now. As for the fundraiser, we're not doing the fundraiser anymore because things started to like less and less donations. So we stopped doing the fundraiser. What we have been doing for the last month and a half or so is we're doing an indoor tag sale. So everything that we've gone through and we want to get rid of has gone into this tag sale. And we've got we've got tables, we've got some furniture, we've got a lot of decor, and we've even like we used to have 4 boxes of Halloween. We're down to two. We used to have like almost 16 boxes of Christmas, and I think we're down to like maybe 10. I haven't really counted it. So we've gone through a lot of our holiday decor and downsized that, and we've gone through a lot of our just everyday stuff that's in the house and said, you know what, we haven't used this in a long time. Do we want to keep it? If not, let's put it in the yard sale. Jerry's also got a bunch of stuff set aside that was part of crafting projects that she said that well, I think she said that she was going to try to do an online auction for them, or something like that. So I'm not sure what she's doing with the crafted stuff. But we are trying to downsize everything. You know, I'm actually hoping once we actually downsize and sell or get rid of all the stuff that we downsize, that hopefully in the near future, um, we've talked about moving um, from this house to something that's smaller and we can afford and we can maintain without issues. Anyhow, that's what I'd like to do. I don't know if that's what's going to happen, but that's what I'd like to do. Yeah, I don't know when it's going to happen. It might not happen until after the holidays because, like I said, we're still going through stuff. And now that we've gone through the bulk of our stuff, it's now um, taking the stuff that we are going to keep and put it back into our shed that's outside. Um, just a lot of different plans. We just don't know exactly which way we're going to go. But I've been looking at some of these houses that are on Trulia, and there's some really nice houses that are inexpensive. Uh, our size, or the size I'd like. The only thing I'm worried about is like if there's stairs, you know. Otherwise, you know, I don't know. But because the future is unknown, it's there's a lot of things that we don't know what we're going to do, what direction we're going to go when we have the ability or chance. Um, so there's a lot of things that we've been contemplating and thinking about, and we're not like deadlock on what we're going to do. We're keeping everything open minded and trying to find the right way. Uh, have you guys made? Have you guys made to go through? Yes, we've actually gone through a Jerry Ann's craft room and we've pulled a lot of stuff out. Uh, One of the things that we want to do, which I'd like to try to accomplish this week, is to basically have Jerry Ann and myself go into the craft room and try to organize it and put it back together and make it look nice and neat so she can use the craft room. Right now, she really can't use it, not because of the fact that it's looks like a tornado hit it. It's because she doesn't have a table in there to do any crafting. So actually, we haven't really done up anything in mom's area because we've been focused on certain other things. Um, we're like I said, one of the things that we thought about, which we haven't really locked onto, is turning mom's old area into an apartment or something like that to rent out. You know, two bedroom, one bath, open concept. You know, living area. We had also talked about, you know, us moving into mom's side of the house and turning it into a small apartment for us and renting out the bulk of the rest of the house to a small family or something like that. We're That's just one of many different ideas of what direction we are going to go. You know, we're not decided yet. You know, that hurricane, that not hurricane, Jim, that tornado that ripped through Rolla several months ago has been determined that it was three different tornadoes, three different F2 to F3 tornadoes that ripped through Rolla. It's like, because I mean, just the evidence of damage and whatnot. That it's like one tornado hit like northern Rolla and ripped up areas in northern Rolla. One went through downtown Rolla, did some damage, and then another one ripped up northern Rolla. You know, so it's like that's what they're saying now after months of going through the rubble and checking, you know, their facts and whatnot. So, you know, but the other thing that I wanted to do with mom's side of the house, if we don't move down there, is you know, maybe because we want to tear up the carpeting. We don't want carpeting in the house anymore because it contains too many irritants, allergens, and mites and dust bunny, you know, like dander and whatnot. And we want to take out all the carpeting, and once all that's done, we're going to lay down like wood flooring. But like I said, you know, other than the carpeting, the final decision of what we're doing with the house, if we stay here, is still up in the air. So it's one of those things. Well, that's the thing is, if we go to do something like renting out part of the house, we would either have to negotiate. Oops, I'm sorry. Negotiate with mom or find a way to buy the house from mom. So, yeah, we're not going to do anything without speaking to mom or anything like that because I don't want any issues between us and mom. I would rather, honestly, and I've tried to talk to Ray about this, but uh, I love my wife. Don't get me wrong, but Jerry is one of these types of people that she gets an idea in her head that she sees workable. It's hard to convince her otherwise. You know, I've talked to her and said, look, yes, I love this house. I love the view that we have from the old living room Arcadia door, where we can see deer and other animals in the field next to next to our property and whatnot. But one, I cannot maintain this house. I'm having trouble maintaining this house. I've had to deal with plumbing issues on my own because we don't have the money. I've had to deal with cleaning issues. I've had to deal with all kinds of different issues. And I'm like, what's the point of having this big old house when half of it we don't even use? And if it wasn't for, some of the things that we've been doing lately, like using mom's old bedroom as a temporary storage until we go through all our stuff, to I wanted to turn mom's old office into my office, but Jerry wants me to move it into the old living room after we get done with the yard sale. And I'm like, when are we going to get done with that? So nothing against Jerry. I'm just tired of waiting for the this, that, and other thing. It's like, make a plan and stick with that plan. Yes, if it needs some adjustments, okay, that's understandable. Things do need to be adjusted from time to time. But my health is failing. Her health is failing. Our, you know, the young lady that assists Jerry with taking care of the house can't take care of the whole house. And by the bylaws, she can only do what is Jerry's stuff. She can't do the whole house. She can't do anything that I. She can't change the bed because I sleep in the bed. You know. So it's like she can come in here and prep food for Jerry. Um, you know, do Jerry Ann's clothes, things like that. But I'm starting to think that maybe, and maybe this is just because I've gotten too sluggish, or just don't have the oomph that I used to have, that I can't do as much as I used to. And then with this right now, it's like I get out of bed, I go make a hot cup of coffee or something, and I have to sit down for a good half an hour before I have the energy, let alone the strength to get up and make breakfast. But anyhow, yeah, Lisa was there briefly. I was happy to see that Lisa did that. Unfortunately, I don't remember the comments. I wish I'd see Lisa more and more in the comments, but I was able to get the plumbing fixed. I was able to get it so it would flush properly. Um, I now have this nice long snake, whatever you want to call it, that if I have to, I can put it down into the drain and pull out any like stuck material until my toilet flushes properly. Or I've got a what they call a power plunger. Basically, it's not like the ones that I wanted, because the one I wanted is a little bit more expensive. But it's like a plunger. You stick it over the hole of the commode, and this handle, you just pump like air or pressurized water, so it will push material out of the way. Um, so I mean, I personally, I like owning a house. I like owning a house because I can do whatever I want with it. But I would like to be able to rent a house so that I can basically go, hey, look, you're the landlord. Can you get somebody to fix this? Um, but you can't have a rental and be able to do what you want with it. Like, you might be, I don't know. I don't know if a landlord will let you paint, or how many holes in the wall you can put into the wall so you can hang stuff up. I don't know. But I'll be 54 this October. She's already 55. She's born in 1970. I was born in late 71. So she's a couple months ahead of me. Actually, no, a year. She was born in July of 70. I was born in October of 71. So, yeah. But Rachel, no, I have not been able to keep up the yard work, and I can't. I do what I can when I can. I've got an area of my yard right now that I need to go weed whack. It's up against my neighbors, and um, he's been using his mower to do his side of the yard, and Doesn't even try to, of course, I don't go over and ask him, say, can you get that corner right there? But yeah, I know. That's why I want to move into something smaller. To be honest with you, I want to be different than everybody else around me. I want to get uh, you know, own a smaller house with a little bit of a smaller property, except for like some of the houses that I looked at via Trulia, that's in St. Louis, that we can purchase, and it's in within our price range. Um, they've got a nice big backyard for the dog and fence it in and let her run crazy without a leash. Um, I was like, well, if I got a riding law or something like that, I would be able to keep that, maintained, you know. But I don't know. It's just one of those things where it's like, yes, I want certain changes to make it easier, make it easier on my life. But at the same time, it's like I don't have two pennies to rub together, 9 times out of 10 for gas. I'm not saying that we're that poor, but it's just like right now because we haven't been able to drive the car for a month or more, which I'm not happy about. Because it just needs to be registered and taxes need to be paid on it. We need to get my driver's license renewed, new tags, uh, a new tire because one of the tires was balding. That's why I didn't pass its original inspection. We have to, be able to get a tire to get the actual inspection gone through. So it's a lot of a lot of hassles. Yeah, I keep on getting these ads, these pop up ads. Um, but I mean, I'm not blaming anybody for what's been happening with the maintenance of the house or the upkeep of the house or anything like that. I mean, there's a lot of facts involved, and it involves both me and Jerry. And I mean, I'll be honest with you, I would like to be able to, snap my fingers and fix everything, but it doesn't work that way. I have to try to, hey, Corey, well, the first one didn't go up for some reason. Yeah, it froze. Um, but right now with the hay fever and algae situation, it's hard for me to get out there and do yard work, you know. And unfortunately, because I have battery operated mower, it only does a small section of the yard before the battery dies, and then by the time the battery charges up and then go back out there, it's crazy. But yeah, I try to do as much as I can when I can, which I'm surprised I haven't gotten somebody going, hey, you need to mow this now because you're. I'm sorry, we don't have an HOA around here, so I ain't worried about it. Um, I don't think Mom's on here. I don't know if Sally's on here. Um, she might be watching. I don't know, but sorry, I'm catching up on some of some of your comments. Oh, there's Mom. Uh, Tell me about it, kicking. If I had the ability to afford a barn and a horse and I ain't even worried about a buggy. I'm just I'll ride the horse and get a pair of saddlebags or something. But yeah, you either find a part of the world, part of the country, not world, part of the country that doesn't have so much. I mean, might as well might as well become an Amish person and move to somewhere in Amish country, Ohio. Um, Well, make my breakfast. The yard sale has been totally indoor. We decided because when we wanted to start it, it was really hot and yucky, and we were having a heat wave here for I don't know how long. We decided, what, let's do it indoors. Well, we'll put up signs that guide them to the Arcadia door. They can come in there. That's the biggest room in the house, and just set up tables and whatnot for that room to do the yard sale, and it's been fairly good. You know, we've had a day or two that just like nobody showed up. Uh, well, actually, my neighbor who I'm talking about, it's her grandson comes in with a riding mower. Um, I don't know if I could borrow anybody's mower that lives in the neighborhood. I'd like, it would be great if some kid or somebody came by and offered to do it for like 10, $15, because that would be, probably about the highest I could afford right now. Yeah, October, I've always thought that like late spring, early August, or not early August, late spring, early autumn would be perfect times for yard sales because, it's not too hot, not too cold, you know. Of course, we've had a very long dry season, and all of a sudden we're starting to get like lots of rain, and they're talking about winter starting early, and I'm like, oh yeah, winter starting early. How long is it going to last, and what is it going to be like next year? So yeah, the cabinet behind me is basically a computer desk. Um, so that's what I've been using it for. It's also I could be also used as like a secretary's desk or something like that. In fact, when I get when things get rearranged the way I want it, which I hope it does, this desk will be empty, and I will be using the part of Mom's old computer hutch that she left behind. So it has helped our financial situation a little bit. It's bailed us out pretty much, a couple times. Uh, I do believe, I haven't looked yet. I know we paid for September. It's October, I think. We paid. We haven't. We're not totally ready for. And to be honest with you, it's not that I don't want to talk about it. It's just like with the way my brain has been lately, everything is either fuzzy or confusing, or I can't always connect the dots. Um, let's see here. Uh, Thank you, Kick, and I'm really glad that that we, not just me, but both Jerry and myself, have people who root for us and wish us the best. We thought about getting another dog, but we haven't. I'm kind of glad we haven't because right now trying to feed Oreo as is has been not really a difficult thing, but it's been times where we've had a week without actual dog kibble, and we try to feed her, what we know is good for her, cooked meats and vegetables, um, basically that kind of stuff. We get like canned chicken and water, so we give that to her, um, but we keep her fed. Yes, Rachel, we are making progress, and and the thing is if I can keep going forward the way it's been going since I got this job, since I got my job, basically, um, things should hopefully start leveling out. We can start actually um, hold on to some of our income uh, for emergencies or anything like that. Well, that's the thing. I'll make my breakfast. We don't know when we can move. Um, So I'm not too worried about it. If we have to hold off until springtime, so be it. Um, We just don't know. We haven't made final decisions yet because it's right now it's not feasible. Uh, Things kicking. Yeah, that's kind of funny there, Corey, because if I knew I could handle it physically, let alone mentally and financially, I would probably have a small hobby farm, or not a hobby farm. I would probably have at least another dog, maybe a cat, you know, maybe some chickens for fresh eggs. But you know, well, that's kind of funny, Rachel, because at first I wasn't gonna look for a job. I mean, I was like, okay, let's just hope and pray that my disability went through. So that's what we were holding off to at least get that. And then when I got the denial, which made us go through the process of appeal, I was like, I can't wait for anybody anymore. I have to start doing my own thing. I have to go get a job. Even if it's just a part-time cashier job or a part-time, you know, whatever. You know, the one job that I was hoping that would come through before this current one, but I was kind of like, I don't know if I can do it or not. I mean, granted, it would have been a sit-down job, but it would have been what they call a bus monitor, to sit on a bus with a bunch of screaming kids at 6 o'clock in the morning or whatever. I was like, I don't know if I can do that. So yeah, the vet bill. I mean, granted, thank God, Oreo is a good dog. She don't get in a lot of trouble. So it's just like the vaccines and whatnot. You know. So, but anyhow, it is almost 8. Well, it's past 8:30. It's almost 8:40. I think I'm gonna go ahead and get off this. I'm not gonna make any promises anymore, people. I don't know when I'll be able to do this again. I don't know if I'll be able to do this during the week time or anything like that because of responsibilities around the house, and I might get a bunch of hours soon. Who knows? But you know, keep on doing what you guys are doing for it. I mean, a lot of you guys, give us well wishes. A lot of you guys keep us in your prayers and whatnot. Um, so that seems to be doing good right now. Uh, you know, I I don't ask for much, but anyhow, I hope you guys enjoy your week ahead, uh, and hopefully things start to change for the better for everybody. So until next time, you guys have a good night. Enjoy. Bye.